What is good, YouTube? No, I mean, what the hell is going on with the DC universe? There is so many contradictory statements coming out at the moment. To me, it's almost like no one actually knows what's going on. I don't even think James Gunn and Pete Safran knows what's going on with the Batman. And then you have people saying, yeah, Batman's been front center for the last 10 years. And then it's like, really? We've had more Supermans than we have Batmans. We've had Brandon Ruth appearing in the big Arrowverse crossover. We had Tyler Hoechlin having multiple seasons. We had Henry Cavill. We've had more Supermans recently than we have Batmans. What the hell's going on? And Andy Muschietti, it seems to me like he's not even the director of the Batman Brave and Bold. It's not just officially come out. People want to cherry pick when they decide to believe said scooper. It's all right you believe in said scooper for one thing, but said scooper says something about something else and you don't believe him. You've got to be consistent with your thinking. So, are they merging the Batman universe with the DCU? Meaning, is Robert Pattinson going to be the Batman in the DCU? We don't know because they've not even said anything recently. I mean, sure, we had the little 10-second clip in Creature Commandos, but seriously, who watched that? Not many people. Yeah, that's going to trigger you. So, yo, what is freaking good, YouTube? We'll see if you are new around. And make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel DC casual month of it. Pop culture-based content that I try to deliver on a daily basis. You could subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and let me know how freaking excited are you for the future of DC. Now, contrary to what you guys think, I'm actually freaking excited for the new Superman movie. I really am, but I'm not going to shill. I will question, I will be critical, I will be hyperbolic, I will question the she's into everything, but I'm still excited to see the Superman movie. Also, if you want to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice, check us out on Instagram at Warstu. And also check us out on Twitter, Warstu. So, recently, Matt Reeves came out and said some stuff. Then what happened is Andy Muschietti came out and basically kind of backed him up, but didn't. So Matt Reeves says, in the recent interview at the Golden Globes, Matt Reeves says it's possible for Pattinson's Batman DCU merge, but he's focused on the Batman Part 2 and telling the story in the Batman epic crime saga more importantly. Now, to me, it seems like he's not getting a trilogy. It almost seems to me like the Batman 2 will be the end of his independent Elseworld storyline franchise because respectively, James Gunn's head of DC. So if James Gunn wants Pattinson to be the main Batman in the DCU when it's created, when we get the Superman movie, respectfully, Matt Reeves can't really say shiz because whatever contract was in place beforehand, that's kind of like null and void at the moment. So a lot of people seem to think that his statements and Andy Muschietti's statements that we're going to go over in a minute basically confirm that Pattinson isn't going to be the DCU version of the Batman. But it's like I say, and people in the comments came at me, you don't understand Batman. I can literally post an image on my Instagram stories of 20 Batman comic books if you really want me to. I understand Batman. But yes, I get it. James Gunn has said the tonal and every DCU project is going to be completely different. I just think the Batman universe with the Penguin and the Batman movie that came out years ago, it's too freaking savage. You can't have that Batman and that Penguin meeting in the same universe. It's not even close to being the same thing. So Andy Muschietti came out and said a bunch of stuff, which realistically, because recently it's been revealed that Andy Muschietti's not even directing it, although it's not officially being come out. But like I said, if you're going to report the good, you have to report the bad. And to me, it screams to me that James Gunn just hasn't confirmed that he's not actually directed. Andy Muschietti says Robert Pattinson will not be the DCU Batman and that Matt Reeves is doing something entirely separate. Now, okay, this is him talking on the retrospective when he was actually in charge, because he's also said this. Andy Muschietti says that after the Batman 2 was delayed, they're now putting together a plan so the Batman Brave and Bold does not come out around the same time. Interesting. Okay, so the current release date for the Batman 2 is 2027. That means there's going to be no Batman to 2028. The Batman that's in the DCU is most likely already going to be known about and most likely already going to be a thing. So now it's going to be an old man Batman that we're getting in the DCU, which we basically already had in the DCEU. And he said there is good progress in developing the story and the film's tone. Now, we know James Gunn is world famous for saying, you don't get a movie until it's greenlit, until there's a script. I won't greenlight anything without a script. But then at the same time, James Gunn has come out and already said, yeah, I'm so excited to shove Batman everywhere, but there's no script, so there's no Batman. Interesting. And then this comes out here. Interesting. Batman has had the spotlight in the DC for literally the whole time. Now it's time for the characters to get their moment. We just had the Caped Crusader as well. Superman's always been spotlight. Literally, in the Justice League movies, Superman was there. We've had so many animated Superman movies that I don't get this narrative not actually being forefront at all. So, and also it's come out recently that Andy Muschietti has not had conversations about the Batman Brave and Bold since before they shot the Superman movie. Okay, they're making good progress, but, you know, he's kind of working for him, but there's been no conversations for such a long time. He's not spoken to him in such a long time. So what does this tell me? This tells me that if we do finally get the Batman 2, which it does seem like it's being delayed due to personal reasons that no one really wants to talk about, it's not really their place, but at least we know now it's being delayed due to personal reasons, not this stupid narrative that James Gunn keeps saying, the script's not done because Matt Reeves keeps saying that he's going to start shooting the Batman later this year. Also said after the success of the Penguin Season 1, they're going to try and do a Penguin Season 2. So to me, it just reads like this. It all depends how well the Batman 2 does to is Robert Pattinson going to be the DCU's Batman. Regardless to what Andy Muschietti says, I'm not convinced that Andy Muschietti is even directing the movie because there's reports coming out saying that it's being put on a back burner for now. I mean, that does make sense. If DC doesn't want two Batmans competing against each other, which makes no sense because James Gunn keeps saying he wants Elseworld storylines with a Red Superman storyline. He keeps saying he wants Elseworld storylines. Then it's not really competing against itself because it's the same studio. It might be different universes, but it's the same studio. I don't understand why the same studio can't have two different Batmans because we've had multiple Supermans at the same time. Yeah, sure, some were in our reverse, then we had the theatrical version, the Henry Cavill version. So that makes no sense. It's not like you're competing against a different studio. It's the same studio. So recently it's been reported that David has been seen in England. Interesting. Ahead of the Supergirl movie shooting. David was spotted in London just days before the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow begins. And it's interesting that some people seem to think that Supergirl will debut actually in the Fortress of Solitude, as there was a reflection of a woman in some kind of shot in the trailer. I personally don't think that's where they're going to introduce Supergirl, but it is interesting. They should use Superman if he's going to be front and center of everything. They should use Superman in every single project they've got. But then James Gunn contradicts himself again. So I get it. They've got to keep making movies, right? I get that. I get Warner Bros. Discovery funds everything there in $50 billion worth of debt. But for James Gunn, I almost feel like he's being misleading. He came out and said, there is no universe if this Superman movie doesn't do well. Okay, so how are you shooting the Supergirl movie literally in the next few days and going to be shooting the Lanterns HBO Max TV series later this year, I believe, if there's nothing, if the Superman movie doesn't do well? I understand and I do believe the Superman movie will do like around the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, probably like 700 to 900 million, somewhere around there. We don't know what the budget is. The apparent budget of the Superman movie is kind of $300 million. I don't know if I believe that, to be honest, because that seems a crazy high, seeing as they are using a set for Nicholas Hoult. They are using basically nobody act. Yeah, I know Rachel Brosnahan is a very good actor. I get it, but they are nobody actors in the sense. Pretty much what they did in the DCEU, where they casted basically nobodies. And now they're all pretty big actors, or well-known at least. So there's going to be no universe if the Superman movie doesn't do well. Yet you're promoting the Supergirl with, you know, Jason Momoa being in it. With, I mean, it's come out that David is randomly in London, which could be for anything. But the fact that they're just about to start shooting the Supergirl movie, it means that he's there for moral support? No, he's most likely going to be in it. So I do find it interesting about all these comments coming out. I personally think it would be better if James Gunn didn't say anything. Andy Muschietti coming out saying this stuff doesn't really mean much because he's not spoken to James Gunn since they filmed the Superman movie last summer. And James Gunn himself has even come out and said, yes, he did consider putting Battinson into the DCU. It's just a case of, does it work well? So he's literally admitted that the rumors are true, irrespective of who you believe. So are they merging the Batman, as in the Pattinson verse, with the DCU being in the same Batman? We're not going to know until the Batman 2 comes out. If the Batman 2 comes out and bangs $1 billion, then sure, they most likely will. But either way, there has to be a Batman in the DC universe. I mean, these comments saying that Batman's been, you know, too front and center for too long. Superman's been everywhere. There's been a Tyler Hoechlin version, a Brandon Routh version, a Henry Cavill version. Yeah, sure, there hasn't been theatrical versions of Superman, but there's been versions of Superman everywhere and the animated version. So this narrative, we've not really had Superman. I get it. You mean in a theatrical movie sense, but Superman's had a presence on TV in the Arrowverse for the longest time ever. So it would be a good idea if Superman does appear in the Supergirl movie. That would boost numbers, especially if Supergirl appeared in some post-credit scene for the Superman movie, which allegedly is one of the post-credit scenes, allegedly. But James Gunn has come out and said that he doesn't want to do that because when he did it with Adam Warlock, he felt like he was pigeonholed into bringing Adam Warlock into another movie. Well, if you set things up properly, it's not really an issue. So I'm very excited to see what the freaking hell's going on. We want a new Batman. We can have the Batman, Robert Pattinson, on an Elseworld story, and we can have a DCU younger Batman, but I don't think he can be young. If allegedly he's been around for over 10 years already, he's going to have to at least be in his 40s already. And Pattinson would be in his 40s by then. Horsnett is, mid-30s-ish. So Batman's going to technically have to be a little bit older, you would hypothetically think. I don't know. But I'm interested either way. And I think it's pretty cool. And the comments on all the Batman Superman videos, pretty interesting. I do listen to you. And the fact that you think I'm a hater of DC, I find it hysterical because this channel was literally built on DC content. I just haven't done as much recently. I've done quite a bit of DC content recently. So we'll be covering Superman, Batman, Supergirl, all DC stuff going forward, as long as I think it's worth covering. So like always, guys, thank you very much for all the love, support, and hate in the comments that I've been receiving. Really does help the channel. And I will catch you in another video, guys, very soon. Catch ya later.